Hello my friends, and welcome back to another Brotato Nightmare Mode run. Hope you're all doing well. Today we're playing the Vagabond, which is always one of my favorite characters. I really like putting together the puzzle of trying to collect as many different weapon categories as you possibly can. I think that's just a fascinating balance to strike when playing this character. It's always fun, you have to shop very differently. And I'm continuing to try to, collect red borders on my favorite characters so we can get wins on Nightmare on every character on all the maps on this account. The way that you play the Vagabond is you're looking for weapons that have multiple weapon categories, because you want as many different ones as you can get. Things like Cacti Club or Quarterstaff. But I usually like to start with loot. Even though we get luck and harvesting at half rate on this character, just getting 12.5 of each of those for free once we get 6 different weapons is pretty powerful, and it lets us get a really good start. Loot also ends up being not bad to mix with other weapons in the later game when you have just a mixed weapon set, because the debuff from it makes our kind of awkward weapons a little better at killing elites and things like that. Here, I'm just going to take 5% damage. I don't want to take harvesting at half rate. The support weapon tag is enough for us. Similarly, I'm just going to ban Fertilizer, and we'll leave Terrified Onion in the pool, because we're going to end up with really low move speed on this character, so I'm not going to ban it here. I will take Hand. This is an unarmed weapon, and so that's a new weapon category. We're actually not going to upgrade the loot yet, because we want new weapons on this character. You want to get to 6 weapons as quickly as possible. That means we're going to be rolling past some loots, unfortunately, but it's really important that I get as many different weapons as I can as quickly as we can, because that will boost both my economy from the musical and support weapon tags, but also actually increase our damage and clear speed in a way that just upgrading our weapons usually won't. Weird Ghost, I'm going to ban. It's kind of hard to use on Nightmare mode, and we'll roll here. I will say, very good opening set of weapons here. We can buy the Rock. I'll leave Claw in the pool for now. I'm going to ban Sharp Bullet, and then I'm going to roll here. And Rock is cheap enough, I will lock one. We'll lock a Weird Food as well, and we'll just ban the turret. So I will eventually sell the Hand, because the support tag is redundant with the loot, and the unarmed tag is redundant with Claw. But for now, we've got a bunch of really good weapon categories. We've got 4 weapons, which is boosting our musical and support tags. We found Blunt and Primitive, and we found Unarmed, and those are some of the most important categories to find. The next 2 most important ones are Medieval and Ethereal, because with Unarmed, Ethereal, and Medieval together, you get 51% dodge from those 3 weapon categories all combined. And that is a really massive head start on buying dodge for a character. I'm going to leave the... I don't need to lock Baby Gecko here. I upgraded Rock because it was super cheap, but I'm not going to upgrade these other 2. I'm going to roll, and we'll take Cacti Club. This gets me Heavy as a weapon category. This is a completely new one, so we're pretty happy with that. Boosting my percent damage, lock the Whistle, and then I'm going to re-roll here. Support, or Elemental, I don't need, and that's the only one I would get from either of these. I could buy the Torch just because it's cheap, and I probably would if we had the money for it, but since we don't, I'm not going to bother locking it. Want to leave those slots open to find new weapons, in particular ethereal weapons, but I also just want to get to 6 total different weapons as quickly as we can, so whatever the 6th weapon that shows up in the shop is for a reasonable price, we're probably going to buy that. I would say we're off to a fairly good start, though. We're missing a couple key weapon categories, but nothing too devastating to not have at the moment, and we've gotten several of the ones that we're really looking for. Here, I'll just take 2 melee damage. We're going to be a melee character primarily, and then I'm going to roll here, and we're going to take an armor. We will end up losing all of our armor when we buy an ethereal weapon, and also you start with -5 on the Vagabond, so you have to prioritize buying armor. All right, I didn't really want to buy just a level 2 hatchet, but it's so important to get to 6 weapons, so I will do that. We'll leave the weird food locked, and we'll roll here. I'll lock cake. Lost duck, I'm not that interested in. I'm going to roll and see if we can find a new weapon. Okay, this is the medieval weapon tag, so we'll take that, and maybe I'll sell out of the rock, because we are getting primitive from Cacti Club, which is also giving us heavy. So this can get me medieval and blunt, and not give up anything else. Spiky shield also does scale with armor, which we're going to prioritize building, even though we have a pretty low amount of it right now. Some other interesting weapon tags for us are blade is really nice. It gives you lifesteal and melee damage. Medical, if you can work that in easily, is really good, giving you a bunch of regeneration, because anything that can help defend you is really important on this slow-moving melee character. Here, I'm going to roll, and I'm just going to take 6 dodge. We're going to end up with a lot of dodge in this run, so the extra dodge here is pretty nice. I don't really want... I think I'm going to sell the hand here and buy the spiky shield, because it's also not giving us anything new. And I don't really want to sell my level 2 weapons right now for the spiky shield, because they're a lot of our clear speed at the moment. I'm going to lock this tree. Railgun is kind of interesting. It gives gun, which is kind of hard to get on this character, but a little bit nice. 50 range isn't completely useless, and it gives heavy. Right now we're getting heavy from Cacti Club, so we don't really need it. I'll take the defective steroids here, and then I'm going to roll one more time. I will upgrade to a level 3 rock. When you upgrade rock, it's just so powerful, because it gives you defensive stats. So we'll probably try for a weapon set that includes the rock, and we'll maybe sell out of the spiky shield for a different medieval weapon. If we find a sword or a vorpal sword, that'll give me medieval and blade, which would be really nice. Also, I need to get rid of something for an ethereal weapon if we ever see one. Ethereal is usually the weapon set that weapon tag that you spend all your time hunting on this character, because it's a relatively small weapon category. It doesn't overlap with anything else, so it can be kind of challenging to find ethereal weapons. I'm going to take 2 regen here, and then we're going to take 10% attack speed, because my attack speed is horrible right now. And we'll buy these. Charcoal gives me 2 melee damage. I could also just ban it, but I guess I'll just buy it here, and then I'll reroll. Lock a coffee, lock a cute monkey, incredible. Fresh meat, I would buy probably, but I want to roll here with 2 weapon slots open. Okay, got an ethereal weapon, and then we can lock the landmines. And so now our weapon set is looking really powerful. So I'll sell out of the hatchet for the ghost flint, because right now that's not giving us anything new. And hatchet's a pretty bad weapon overall. It's just a low damage weapon. Especially when it's not your only weapon, so you still have to buy other damage sources and can't just purely scale off of attack speed. So here you can see one reason why I think that this character is a lot more difficult on Crash Zone than it is on the Abyss. And I've mentioned this a few times in my recent runs. But I should probably make it explicit that I think that Crash Zone is just quite a bit harder on Nightmare Mode than the Abyss is for many characters, if not most characters. The Abyss is just all about getting a lot of damage, but Crash Zone contains a lot of specific puzzles that can be really tough for certain characters to solve. I'll take Cute Monkey here. Tool is not an important weapon category. We'll definitely take Baby Squid. We'll definitely take Gentle Alien. I'm getting Unarmed and Precise from the same weapon, so we don't need the Thief Dagger. I'm going to roll here, and I think I will buy the fresh meat now. I want both lifesteal and regeneration. I want as many stats as we can get. But now we have our full dodge setup with all 3 of the weapon tags that give dodge. And so that gets us almost a dodge cap for free. This character builds dodge more easily than any other character in the game, which is pretty cool. Even the Ghost, which always uses ethereal weapons, only starts with 30 dodge, whereas you start with 46. Well, not start with, but will, from your weapons, get 46. I'm gonna keep chasing down the Enhanced Spitter. Being a slow-moving melee character makes those extremely dangerous enemies. We'll buy some armor here, and then I'm at 50 dodge, so let's take 9 dodge and get to 59 dodge, and then we are gonna be pretty easily able to just stay at or above dodge cap for the entire run. And then we'll roll here. I'll take a black belt. Do I want the spicy sauce? I don't think so. We have 55 max HP. That's enough. But having gotten all of our dodge and being at positive armor is a really good start to a Vagabond run. I will probably eventually sell out of the loot. Loot isn't bad for debuffing elites. It can increase our damage. But the support and musical weapon tags obviously lose value as you go later in the run, since they're economy tags. You want them early. And there's probably some other weapon categories that we could use pretty well. Blade, medical, those would be pretty nice. Took a lot of damage there, so I do need to be somewhat careful, but I feel like with 5 seconds left in the wave, I can take a couple more hits to make sure I'm chasing down a few more of the easily killable enemies. I'll take the rat when it shows up in a box, grab some attack speed. My attack speed is really bad. Sadly, I have to sell the Ghost Flint to buy another one, but we should hopefully, with the level 2 Ghost Flint, maybe actually get some stats off it. I should have bought the head injury instead of the Cyclops worm there. I wasn't paying attention to how much money I had, and then I could have re-rolled. And being able to re-roll would have been really nice. We might have been able to find another important weapon. So, of course, one of the reasons that Crash Zone is harder than the Abyss, specifically for this character, but also often in general, is these summoners. And for melee characters, they're extremely dangerous, because it's very hard to ensure that you actually clear all the summons as they spawn with a melee character, whereas ranged characters can typically do it pretty easily. So melee characters will often end up having to chase down the summons. They're worse at chasing down the summons since they're melee. And on a slow-moving character, like a character using blunt weapons, like we almost by definition are on the Vagabond, that problem is exacerbated, so it becomes even scarier. I will take the Blazemander here, just because we might find some fire synergy stuff, and we'll take 15 attack speed, really important. Buy some armor. Get some move speed. I don't love losing crit chance, because the precise weapon tag is an important part of our setup, but the armor is, or the move speed is pretty important. Upgrading our loot is nice. We'll buy the Ghost Flint. I'm not going to buy Shady Potion at half value. Yes, 10 luck would be good for our consumable healing, but losing 2 regen, I think, is too steep a price to pay for that. I'll buy the cake here. Tractor at half value, I'm also not buying. Buy the ritual, well, or buy the coupon and buy the ritual. That gets me to 6 lifesteal, so my healing setup is still pretty weak, and we need to fix that, but at least we're getting some good weapon upgrades. I do want 1 more point of dodge, but I'm not going to lose an armor to do it, so gambling token is not something we're interested in here. Early baby squid, of course, is really powerful. And will hopefully help get us to a good healing setup pretty quickly. Right now, I could get rid of the spiky shield if I find another medieval weapon. I think I want to keep the rock just because it comes with inherent armor itself. Though we could maybe get rid of it as well if we found something really attractive to replace it with. I'll take the damage here, and then I really want more damage output, so attack speed or melee damage are very tempting, but I don't think you can just pass 3 armor. We'll take the salt water, we'll take the claw upgrade. Claw you're going to stick with pretty much the entire run on this character, typically. None of these do much. I will take the ugly tooth. No, I'm at -5 speed, so I can't really afford to take the ugly tooth. We'll buy the loot, we'll buy the butterfly, and we'll roll again, and then metal is great. Alien tongue I will take because we're still pretty reliant on consumable heal, and alien tongue helps out a lot with that. Wave 11, also a challenge for this character. Our move speed is low. Our damage output can sometimes be pretty poor, and so killing the rib cages can be tough, and getting to these enhanced spitters to kill them is a challenge. And since the enhanced spitters are probably the most dangerous enemy in, at least individually, in Nightmare mode, they can be a real challenge. The waves that you lose on typically, or the waves that you really have to plan around, I guess, is more useful to say, are wave 14, 15, and 16 for this character, which are all about the summons and the enhanced flies if you're playing a ranged build. But the enhanced spitters are probably more dangerous pound for pound than I think any other enemy in the game, maybe even including the Abyss mini-bosses. I'll take the 4 melee damage here, take the metal, we'll buy Alien Tongue, Cake, and I'll take an injection as well, in a roll. I'm not going to buy the knot, as always, of course, if you were just optimizing to win, buying knot there is correct. But the whole point of playing this run is you get to play around with different weird weapon sets. So obviously we're going to try to do that. Not a good elite for us. This is definitely a rough one to have rolled here, because it charges past us, and so it's hard to focus damage on it. Hard to keep the loot debuff on it consistently. So it's going to take a long time to kill it. We should have the DPS to take it out, assuming that I don't take too many hits in the meantime. But this is an elite that is a lot more of a challenge than most would be, I think. The worst for us would be the Crocodile elite, but that's part of why we've so heavily prioritized getting move speed. I'm going to back off and get some consumable healing, because my health was getting a little bit low, and then we'll finish off the elite here. Then we're gonna keep on picking away at the enemies. Did I kill the curse alien? I didn't. That's good. I'm gonna take the small magazine, 10 attack speed for -6 damage. We're very happy with. We'll take 10 luck. It's fine. I mean, the wolf helmet's not exciting, but we're happy to take it. We'll take 8% damage here, and then I'm gonna take 3 more lifesteal because I want as much healing as I can get. Get to upgrade some weapons to level 4. You do not always get to do this on the Vagabond, but getting those leveled up is going to be pretty nice. And the attack speed that we're getting from the Ghost Flint is amazing. Getting even just the 11 attack speed we've already gotten is great. This is the item I was hoping we would get to put us over dodge cap, the Adrenaline, because Adrenaline, of course, is also going to benefit from all the dodge that we've gotten for free. If we end up closing the game out with this weapon set, I won't be devastated, though there are some redundancies still. What I'm looking for is I would love to replace the spiky shield with a sword or Vorpal sword. That would give us, keep the medieval and give us blade. I would like to replace the cacti club with another heavy weapon with a second tag, maybe a heavy gun. Railgun, probably not. I mean, a ranged weapon before wave 16 is a little risky, so I might not take like a minigun, because we just don't have enough ranged damage, and that would create a lot of projectiles from the enhanced flies. Oh, there's the loot alien. I didn't see it, so I'm not going to be able to kill it, probably. I'll take the tentacle here. That's great. We'll take 6 melee damage. Also great. We'll buy these items and re-roll. Okay, so now I do have the option of buying Railgun instead of Cacti Club. We have a lot of dodge, so the Railgun does hit pretty hard, but it's still less damage per swing than the Cacti Club is. We will be taking hits, so we won't be getting the base damage increase. I think I will upgrade the Spiky Shield, even though I kind of want to replace it. And then I'll roll here. Scissors gives us medical. That's a nice weapon tag, but there's nothing that I can sell just for the medical weapon tag. So I think I'll pass on that. But the cape is an amazing find. Wave 14, this is going to be one of the major pressure points for the run. Like we talked about, having to deal with all of these summons as a slow melee character is really challenging. Also, I have the rat, which maybe I should have just not taken, because it's doing some good stuff, but it's also breaking summons. And at points where I don't control whether I can kill the summoners, or whether it's breaking summoners at points where I don't control whether I can kill the summons or not. I need to just go back to always calling them droolers and goobers. And so the rat is making things pretty hard for us this run, actually. Gonna run over here. We have a lot of knockback, which made the loot alien harder to kill, but our high dodge and our reasonable armor is keeping us alive. At this point, I think I probably could start getting Curse. You typically want to avoid Curse on Crash Zone until you're feeling pretty strong, but Black Flag is a good enough reason to pick it up. And then I'm going to roll here, and we'll take 3 armor. And then cape. Oh, I guess I'm over dodge cap. I locked the cape without even thinking. But I guess 266 for 5 lifesteal is actually not good. So that was just a mistake. I just wasn't thinking about the fact that we were at dodge cap already, so I just locked it on autopilot. I'll take the snail here. I think that will help with the elite fight, and we'll take the terrified onion as well. And then we'll go to wave 15. Lowering my move speed, obviously, going into the elite fight is risky, especially wave 15, where there are droolers. But I think we should be able to DPS down the elite really fast. And oh wait, no, it is still alive. I left it at like 1 HP, but our rat killed it. I don't know why I thought it was dead there. Way too many summons on the field right now. I just let too many things spawn, so I need to be really, really careful. Slowly cleaning them up, but I played this wave really badly. Leaving the elite alive at 1 HP, killing all of the droolers and letting so many summons spawn. All of that was really rough. Fortunately, the build was strong, and, you know, having a good build can make up for making mistakes, but pretty kind of a clown show in the last wave, locking an item that we then just didn't buy because it was useless to us, and then leaving the elite alive at 1 health, all kind of embarrassing. We'll pick up the bag here. We'll take the warrior helmet. I wouldn't mind some range, but glasses is so inefficient. Wings, on the other hand, this gets us move speed, and it gives us range, so that's a pretty nice buy. And I guess I'll upgrade my Cacti Club. We'll take a whetstone here. I'm hoping we get a cool legendary or a neat change of items. One thing that you do have to be wary of when you're playing the Vagabond, though, is that legendary weapons can be really dangerous if you don't have enough max HP, because you will get the full hit as though you had 6 legendary weapons, which is minus 100 HP. So, unless you have a lot of health, you need to be really careful about buying legendaries on this character. Honestly, the Black Flag is probably still a net negative, and I should have avoided getting Curse, because the cursed enemies on this map are so dangerous. Now, this wave, it's not as big a deal, because enemies can't be cursed and buffed at the same time, and what you're really worried about wave 16 is all the buffing aliens, unless you have a ranged weapon, but we don't. We'll take some lifesteal here. Okay, I'll take a Cursed Pocket Factory, that's fun. We'll buy the wings, I think will help more, and then I'll upgrade Cacti Club so we can kill the elite just a little bit faster. I will spend 90 on 5 luck here. Yes, we buy it at half rate, but luck is a really important part of our healing setup right now. One advantage of having started with and kept the loot is that you can see it is helping us kill elite a lot quicker. The debuff from a loot, even a medium level loot, is actually really, really strong for killing elites. It stacks up really easily and increases all of your DPS against the elite by so much. I would love a ghost outfit. Getting 10% more dodge would be amazing. Getting to go over the normal dodge cap. But wave 17 went pretty well. We're very happy with the exoskeleton. Yes, it cost me some healing, which is important, but still nice. I don't need the Terrified Onion anymore. We'll take some more melee damage. Shady Potion, although the rate at which we buy luck, the price ratio is a little more efficient, I don't want to lose 2 regen, so I'm going to pass on the Shady Potion. It's also just more total money, and you can't just look at efficiency, you also need to look at how much total money you're spending. I'll take the Warrior Helmet. Stone Skin, I don't really need at this point. We have plenty of HP, and unless we find a legendary, then I'll wish we'd taken it, but Bag is a little too late here. Mirror, I don't like locking unless there's something that I'm specifically going to copy. I need to clear as many buffing aliens as we can. Too many buff horn chargers are really challenging on wave 18. You need a lot of move speed and a lot of healing to stay ahead of them. Now, by this point in the run, your build should typically be pretty good, and so this wave shouldn't be as big a deal. But usually on wave 18, if you're playing a melee character, another reason melee characters are a lot more challenging on Crash Zone. If you're playing a melee character, you're just going to end up doing something like this, where you just run away from the enemies on wave 18 instead of trying to actually clear the buffing aliens, because it's just so hard to do it with melee weapons. And I'm going to roll here. I'll take 5 crit chance. That'll increase our damage against the bosses. I'll take the defective steroids. I'm going to try the riposte. We have 60 dodge, so this could be an interesting damage source for us. Naval and medieval. So basically I could sell the spiky shield, which is actually doing pretty solid damage output. It's one of our best damaging weapons last wave. That's really interesting. Because I could have sold it. And no, I can't. Yeah, because then basically I get the naval tag for free, and we get 5 curse. I don't think that that's that helpful because it's late in the run. If we had gotten it earlier, then I might have done that. I'll take the spiky shield, and we'll take mouse. More lifesteal is going to be very helpful in the boss wave. More enemies are also good for us. I think I will take the gentle alien as well going into the boss wave, because we don't care about there being more attacks on the field. We're tanky enough to survive them. We care about having enough healing. And the way that you get healing on this character is actually having more enemies so that we can lifesteal off of them, so that we can get consumable heal. And it also gives us 5% damage into max HP. The max HP is not important at this stage, but the 5% damage is still relevant for clearing the bosses. Get that tree kill. But you can see at this point we're tanky enough that we're able to survive just running straight into the enemies, even though it's a lot of really dangerous buffed or cursed enemies. And that's where you want to end up on the Vagabond. This character intends to get super, super tanky. I'm going to roll here, and I think I'm just taking 8 melee damage just to try to kill the bosses just that little bit faster. We'll buy these items and re-roll. Re-roll again. Sharp Tooth is an interesting item for this character, by the way, because it gives you 2 important weapon categories. Now, we have Precise from Claw, and Claw is such a key weapon for this character, giving you 2 really good weapon, like 1 mandatory weapon category in the form of unarmed, and a second really good one, that you're rarely going to end up with other precise weapons than Claw. It's just the best way to build the character, but it is worth noting what other combos work. I think I'm going to take the regeneration over the Ice Cube. Ice Cube is a little bit of extra damage at the start of the wave, but Mace would have been a solid find. That could have let us get Heavy and Medieval and rework some of our slightly dodgier weapons. So that would have been an interesting one. I'm going to roll here as well. And Blood Leech I'd have been happy with. Ritual we'd have been happy with, but obviously can't afford those. But Ice Cube could have debuffed the bosses for 3 seconds, but I think this fight's going to go long enough that 10% damage for 3 seconds is not going to meaningfully increase my kill time, and I'd much rather have the additional regeneration to make sure that we can stay alive against the bosses. Trying to kill the octopus head first. It's the easier one to focus down, and it has the more dangerous attack patterns, and then we're going to go after the Colossus. And there we go. That's the Vagabond on Crash Zone. So definitely more difficult than the Abyss run that I did. A lot of running away, a lot of trying to just tank through things, but we made it. Even with a couple mistakes that I made at various points in that run. Let's look at our weapon damage. So obviously the loot didn't do much, but it also debuffed the bosses by 70%. So, or probably not 70%, but like 30% on average, because the debuffs will time out. But that's still a massive damage increase. Our Ghost Flint dealt 10k and gave us 44 attack speed over the course of the run. So Ghost Flint was a really nice find here. Attack speed is even more important than normal when you're using a mixed weapon set, because your weapons are less predictable, so you really want them attacking quickly, so you always have a weapon attack off cooldown. Rock dealt 15k, also gave us 2 armor and 2 HP. Cacti Club for 16k, and actually our Spiky Shield was our highest damage weapon. Looking at our items here, we had 400 healing from Cute Monkeys, wildly overperforming as always. 15 regen from Baby Squid, ditto. 40k damage from the Rat, not bad. And 75k from the Blazemander, actually really good, given that we bought very little elemental damage. Only 200 save from Coupon, a little on the lower end. 150 from Dangerous Bunny. We had 200 healing from Adrenaline. I talked about how I wanted this item specifically. And 100 from Tentacle. 140 materials from the Black Flag, but also the extra enemies, of course, were valuable in and of themselves. 0 items from Treasure Map. So a rare Treasure Map L here. And then First Pocket Factory was good. 120 materials from Bag also did very badly. Now, we had very low luck at the end of the game, so that's why these luck-based, kind of finding items-based economy items struggled, but still unusual to see them perform that bad, even in a run like this one. Oh yeah, and the riposte dealt 14k damage, so you can see why I'm still just not that impressed with this item in general. It was fine in the end game, but it dealt probably 10k in wave 19 and 3k in wave 20, which isn't the end of the world, but isn't great either. Alright, my friends, hope you enjoyed this run with the Vagabond. I always have a ton of fun playing this character, and your weapons will often end up looking something like this in the end game. I think this is a pretty common one. The other one you'll see a lot is Sword or Vorpal Sword to get you the Blade weapon tag. And then you can mix in others as you get the appropriate weapons for them. As always, of course, if you enjoyed the video, then feel free to leave a comment and hit like. Helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, folks. I'll catch you next time.